Welcome to Tacoma, Washington and Starfire Sports Complex. Tacoma Defiance and Minnesota United FC battling in MLS Next Pro play this evening. Both sides trying to stop long losing streaks. Hello, family. I'm James Hadnot. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Minnesota, a side that had a fantastic start to the campaign, winners of 4 straight for the first time in franchise history. They have fallen on hard times with 4 straight losses. And for Tacoma, a side that started 5 wins, 2 losses, they dropped their last 3. So both are trying to get off the schneid and get back in the win column this evening. Let's take a look at the starting 11 for Eredivisie, DSA, and Tacoma Defiance. A 4-2-3-1, 5 changes from their loss, 3-2 at the hands of North Texas. Cody Baker, Leo Burney, Barama Diao, Peter Kingston, and Jumao Kang are back in the starting 11. And the players to watch in this 11, Osase de Rosario, a true number 9. He is second in goals on the team behind Yu Sukanome, who sprung to the top of the leaderboard on this side in goals. He is 1 off the league lead. Nelson Pierre has 10 goals for Vancouver, and Yu Sukanome has 9 for Tacoma Defiance. Now let's take a look at the Minnesota United FC 2 lineup. Jeremy Hall sends out a 4-4-2. He makes 5 changes. Players to watch out for. 1 to note, Wessel Spiel is going to be in goal this evening. He has a 3-2 record for the Loons. Loic Masonvi is an excellent player. He recently played for the first team, and Samuel Shashua, who is often in the lineup for the first team, has 1 goal on the year. That came back versus Sporting Kansas City 2. Shashua, along with Luke Hilly, will be up top for Minnesota this evening. Well, this matchup is going to be a fun one for sure, especially because of where both of these teams sit right now. In regards to the table, Minnesota, a side that has played just 8 matches coming into today, and they have 3 to 4 matches in hand against teams in front of them right now in the West. Of course, we're still early on, a 28-match season, and so plenty of matches still to be played for the Loons. Jeremy Hall mentioned that he knows where his team is at right now. Love the way that they got started in 2025, and feels like their concentration has kind of shut off at times, and that's why they started to give up goals that they weren't giving up early on in the year. Those first 4 matches, they did not concede first, and in their last 4 losses, they've conceded first in all 4 of those matches. And so that's going to be a big key today for Minnesota. Can they keep Tacoma off the scoreboard? And that's going to be a tough task, because Tacoma, going back to last year, has been a team that pushed the ball in the back of the net. They were tied last year for goals for with Philadelphia. More than 50 goals scored last season. And for a large part of this season, they were leading the league in goals scored. But they have since fallen on hard times. They scored 2 versus North Texas last time out. That was not enough. Had 1 goal in their loss to Portland, and were blanked on the scoreboard in the Cascadia clash with Vancouver 5-0. So they will be chomping at the bit to get on the board early versus Minnesota. We are moments away from kickoff. Minnesota going to be in the sky blue kits. And Tacoma in the gray kits with black shorts. Also something to watch out for early in this match. Can somebody other than Osase de Rosario and Yu Sukanome get on the board? They have the lion's share of goals for the team this season. Can somebody else step up? There's the opening whistle, and we begin from Starfire Sports Complex. Minnesota United FC 2 and Tacoma Defiance in the Western Conference. Minnesota trying to control in the final third early on, but the ball is taken away. De Rosario forward to Gomez, and this will be a throw in for Tacoma. Both sides at 500 on the year. And after a touch, it actually will be Minnesota's ball. So the lone sitting back in. Kinji out wide. Padelford is another first-teamer. He's going to be a part of the center back pairing with Britton Fisher. Nobody home on that direct ball. A little shove of De Rosario and a free kick coming for Tacoma. De Rosario was off to a very hot start to the season, scoring his 8 goals in a very small amount of matches. Since then has been a bit quiet, but also made his first team debut. This is Leo Burney, and Kaito Yamada scored his first goal of the season, a beautiful volley versus North Texas in the last match. Be interested to see how Minnesota plays this defensively. They're a team that likes to defend high, put pressure on their opponent, but there's a lot of quality on the pitch for Tacoma. You see one-touch passing there, and the Defiance a little loose here. De Rosario, long effort, and that's well off the mark. He has the license to shoot from pretty much anywhere, but Hervé Diesse might not be too pleased with that early go. This week, both sides focusing on defense. They have started to leak goals at a rate that they would not be happy about, especially Tacoma. Through their first 7 matches of the season, they had given up just 13 goals. Did not notch a clean sheet, but over the last 3, they've given up 10 total goals. Now, of course, the outlier is the 5 surrendered to Vancouver. But 3 last time out and 2 to Portland in the second part of the Cascadia rivalry. So Tacoma trying to figure things out and lock back in defensively. This ball's fired forward. De Rosario at the edge of the box. Now as the ball's cut in, it's cleared away for a corner. So Edison Carly plays it quickly. Kingston into the box. Now Gomez off the volley. This is Kingston. And Tacoma aggressive early. 2 shots from outside the box. Neither troubling Wessel Spiel. I talked to Jeremy Hall, head coach for Minnesota, just about some of the results recently. Said that the team was obviously frustrated. Hall not going to be pleased with his team being dispossessed once again. Kingston back to Burney. And now Burney in a bit of trouble, but figures a way out. Finishing the point on Coach Hall. He said that he was just frustrated because it wasn't like teams were playing much better than them. He felt like the opponents were doing just a better job of executing taking advantage of Minnesota's mistakes. Both of these coaches have a firm belief in their squads and believe if they stick to their principles that they will be successful. A little tap to Kane. Kane right into Spiel. De Rosario was the target. These first 6 minutes, it's been pretty much one way. Joshua. Sanvi and Joshua play pass, and the ball's turned over. Given right back by De Rosario. Alpha Cabia with the Sierra Leone youth national team at the U20 level. Ball slides out wide. Early ball comes in. Knocked away by Bernie. De Rosario fighting with Britton Fisher. Battle won by Britton. Throw in for Minnesota. Elfert does the right thing, goes back to Spiel, but Sukanome putting pressure on. And Yu Sukanome has grown so much as a player coming into this season. This is Joshua. Cabia. And Padelford punches it out wide. Joshua returns the other way. Just a poor control on the wide side of the field. Ferris forward. Call Love returns to Ferris. Minnesota now with an opportunity to connect some passes. And their first real spell of possession at the beginning of the match. Joshua. Fires it towards the back post, and it's saved by Castro. Luke Hilly was there, and Castro sent it away. Joshua does such a good job finding space. He creates the vision for this pass. Hilly makes the run. Gomez is the guilty party there. As Kisa Kenji was first to the ball. So although Minnesota didn't see very much of the ball through the first 10 minutes, they actually had the best chance early on. But Castro with a clean save. Wonderful ball into Joshua. He's isolated against Yamada. Masanvi, Joshua. And once again, Jacob Castro answers the call. The former Seattle Sounders Academy member, started back in 2017. Also played wide receiver in high school. So he showed his hands there, making that save. So 2 shots on target throughout the first 11 minutes for Minnesota, as they've had some clean chances. Jacob Castro has been clean as well. Masanvi, nice little touch around, but Sebastian Gomez tracking back defensively does a good job. And now the throw-in will come for Tacoma. We talked about the importance of the first 15 minutes. Minnesota trying to break down Tacoma, a side that's always thirsty for goals. Whether they have secured a lead or find themselves down, they're looking for more goals often. And so it's going to take more than one today for Minnesota, especially here at Starfire, where the Loons have never beaten Tacoma. Going back to the 2022 season, Minnesota is 0-2-1 versus the Defiance at Starfire. There's a foul near midfield. There are going to be times in a season where you struggle. Not every season is daisies and roses. And for both sides, the coaching staff has talked, again, very highly with their sides about what they've seen from them. Just cleaning things up, a couple of errors, and feel like they can get back to their winning ways. Masanvi, so smooth on the touchline, but could not find his way completely around. For Tacoma, Coach Hervé Diese and the entire team have a book club. The book is Call to Greatness by Alex Auerbach. It's one that they're reading as a team. They read a chapter a month. And De Rosario trying to break her around. Kane closes things down as well. It'll be a throw-in for Minnesota. But that book is about mental toughness and what it takes to be at your best mentally, to be successful. And right now, Tacoma is a side that's playing against itself. That's the hardest thing. They did so well, everything kind of leading up to playing Portland Timbers in the Open Cup, a match they felt like they should have won. But since then, just have not had the same gumption that they had coming into that match. They were very flat versus Vancouver, and there's been carryover in matches versus Portland, where they were down 2-1. They're just trying to regain that composure, regain that fight. There's a foul on Edson Carly. Fans here at Starfire not going to be very pleased. Delford almost turns it over and does. Carly Sukanome returns to Carly. And the long shot is saved by Spiel. No rebound. A sure save by Wessel Spiel. Those are the turnovers that Minnesota wants to stay away from, because with the perfection in passing that Tacoma possesses, there will be opportunities. Padelford fires it over the top. Joshua controls, waiting for reinforcements, and Masanvi hits it first time. It's wide of the mark.
We have substitution for the visiting team, Minnesota United FC2, leaving the pitch, number 36, Mukisa Clean.
So Kisa Kinji has to come off in the first half within 17 minutes. Dom Mowing will come on. So don't know if there was a knock for Kinji or if he just didn't feel like he could continue. But an early substitution window used by Minnesota, and that'll be something to watch as the match goes on. Happened in a match earlier this year, I believe versus Kansas City, where they had to use an early substitution. That was to get a first-team player off, and at the end of the match, found themselves a man down because of that early substitution used. Hoping that's not going to be the same case here today. Yamada trying to pick out Kane. He cannot, as it's headed away. Throw-in coming for Tacoma. Nice little tap around. Kane keeps it in play on the touchline. Kingston into Yamada. Now wide. De Rosario takes contact. Play on is the decision. Now Minnesota controls. See how quickly the ball changed sides and then found, or almost found, De Rosario. That's the pace that Tacoma wants to play with when they find possession. Another direct ball. This time it's out of the reach of its intended target, Luke Hilly. Hilly played for Rutgers as well as played for Syracuse University, where he won a national championship back in 2022. This portion of the match is brought to you by your locally owned and operated McDonald's. Download the McDonald's app today. When the Sounders win, this ball's popped up high and headed right at the goalkeeper. When the Sounders win, you can win a free McChicken the following day with a minimum of $2 purchase, only in the app. Here's a little chance as it's popped up. It was De Rosario and Yusuke Nome. Kane loses his footing. This ball is fired off to the right side. It's tracked down by Mowing, who just came on. Masanvi, who's a special player. Still a young player for Minnesota, but somebody that the coaching staff is very pleased with. Has a couple of goals this season, and Masanvi ventures into the box. Joshua keeps possession, and Carly with a save. Minnesota still on the ball, and Jackson Castro has been called on multiple times today, and he has been in the right place at the right time every time. So Padelford looking like he's about to plan a long throw. Ball will make it to the box. Bernie is first to it. Padelford brings it down. Now Padelford at the byline. And Diao is the one that touches it towards De Rosario. Tacoma trying to play out of the back, but they lose possession. Masanvi, plenty of speed. He cuts it across. And Loic Masanvi is very, very slippery and knows how to switch gears. Padelford, who just played in that long throw, back in a similar circumstance. Ball launched into the box, nodded forward, bouncing, and Castro takes it off the bounce. That ball was up for grabs. Masanvi was the closest to it for Minnesota. Jackson Castro once again has done enough. Jacob Castro has done enough. There's a foul. Free kick played quickly. Carly in a bit of a jam. Kingston firing towards Gomez. And now Diao. Carly. Sukunome was the intended target. Now Call-Up in a bit of a jam. And now a clearance. Very calm first 24 minutes of action. Minnesota had two real chances, required two excellent saves from Jacob Castro. Samuel Joshua has been in the mix for Minnesota, and that's to be expected when he's come down. He has excellent service, showcases quality rather often. Kane, a tap forward. Gomez. Fans wanting a handball. Sebastian Gomez had worked his way around, was looking for Jose de Rosario. Alfia Cabia is the man that was down. And here it is. Just a collision with Yusukanome. And that's where the collision was, but obviously not enough for the play to be stopped. So on the drop ball, Minnesota sends the ball forward. Leo Burney stepping in front, and a necessary slide by Luke Hilly. Carly takes it himself, and Diao works back to Yamada. It's really been Minnesota in control since the first 6 to 7 minutes of the match. Tacoma now looking for a spell of possession. Kingston, a good idea, but could not connect with Gomez. Sebastian Gomez has put in a very high work ethic to win that ball back. Launches forward towards De Rosario. De Rosario working on Britton Fisher. And as this ball's looped into the air, Cody Baker nods it back. Peter Kingston could not connect with Jun Mao Kang. Diao has to be careful with Masanvi lurking. And Minnesota will put on a little pressure here. Kingston does a nice job before that ball runs central. Sukanome with a spectacular pass into Diao. Diao, early ball. And De Rosario just barely got a chance. It ends up off of Minnesota and a corner for Tacoma. The initial pass was gorgeous from Yusu Kanome. That's why he plays the number 10. Edson Carly stands behind this corner, fires it across the box, and it's nodded away by Anderson Ferris. Throw in for Tacoma. This portion of the match is brought to you by Providence Swedish, official healthcare partner of Seattle Sounders FC. Minnesota lurking forward. Masanvi is past Yamada, but Jacob Castro closed down the space, and Masanvi could not have a clean strike. You see the pace from Masanvi. He can be a difference maker, and he's a nuisance to a back line. De Rosario trying to do it on his own, and he ends up committing the foul. A free kick now for Minnesota. We're in the 30th minute, no score between Tacoma Defiance and Minnesota United. James Hadnot here with you. Our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew. Thank you so much for joining us this evening from Starfire Sports Complex. Minnesota trying to snap a 4-match losing streak. This ball's lifted into the box. Nodded away by Yamada. Ball sent back into the mixer and nobody there. Jacob Castro comes down with it. Now Yusu Kanome, a rare poor pass from him. And Hilly ends up on the pitch, but play on is the decision. But Elford trying to play direct. It is snuffed out by Tacoma. Minnesota in the counter press commits a foul. Minnesota has been on the ball for much more than Tacoma in this half. They've had the better chances. And we'll see if Tacoma can stir something up in this final quarter of an hour. Minnesota with 4 shots on target. Tacoma with just 2. Possession numbers are about even, right at 50-50. Gomez just keeps this in on the touchline. Carly putting in a lot of work to keep possession, and then there's a foul. Great effort there by Edson Carly. And a free kick for Tacoma. Defiance will bring numbers forward and play quickly. Baker floating towards De Rosario. Ball is taken in by Spiel. That's aggressive goaltending. Spiel sends it away. First ball won by Tacoma. Defiance keep possession. And Yamana carries across midfield. Wonderful idea, but Diao can't keep it in and create a corner. One thing that Tacoma has not done this season is keep a clean sheet. Coach Hervé Diesse says it's the bane of our existence. The fact that they have not been able to keep a team off the scoreboard all year. They have not had trouble scoring goals as mentioned, but want to add the defensive prowess to their offensive firepower. Jacob Castro has done a good job tonight in keeping Minnesota off the scoreboard, but the Loons just keep on coming. Ferris cannot work his way around Kingston, and that's going to be a goal kick for Tacoma. Really fun halftime show for you. Hope that you stick around. We'll have Eddie Pope from Carolina Court, as well as a discussion on mental health with Diego Luna of RSL. In Tacoma, they don't necessarily call it mental health, but mental fitness. The necessity to always be working on your mental. Sometimes when you're in the gym and you just don't have it, you still have to work. Sometimes you're feeling extremely sharp. And that's what Coach Diesse shared with me about how the team sees their mental fitness. Want to always be working on it and know how to perform when you're not feeling your best, but also know how to take advantage when you're feeling at your sharpest. That'll all come at the halftime break. Sanvi takes this away from Diao. Kolov. Masanvi in some space. This is where he can be dangerous. Joshua. Now Kabia. Kolov. Good work here from Minnesota. Ball brought down. And Ferris is closed down quickly by Baker. As much as Minnesota is doing well in keeping possession, Tacoma did an excellent job of not allowing any avenue for a cross. Kane keeps this in. It was good work from both sides. Minnesota taking their time, going from side to side, just trying to find an avenue forward, and Tacoma staying compact, which is exactly what the coaching staff wants to see. Leaving no crevice. Yamada fouled by Masanvi. Baker, a beautiful ball to Barame Diao. Numbers arriving in the box. Sukanome could not put it on frame. Just a beautiful build-up from Tacoma. Sukanome just could not challenge Wessel Spiel. This portion of the match is brought to you by Puyallup Tribe of Indians, a tribe known for being generous and welcoming to all people. Minnesota in possession, 40th minute, no score in this first half. June-Mao Kane racing forward for Tacoma. Kane comes to a halt. Closed down by 2. Throw-in coming for Defiance. Diao. Carly. Minnesota also has done a pretty good job today. After the first 5 minutes, when Tacoma came out rather hot, cooled off Tacoma. Now Sebastian Gomez slides past. Now swivels into the box. Gomez looking to pick out a pass. It'll be Diao who plays in the cross. Headed away by Kolov. June-Mao Kane can't find a way around Kolov. Tacoma still in possession. Kane fires in the cross. And Padelford deals with it. We talked about the necessity of being locked in from the beginning. And Coach Hall's side for Minnesota has done just that. With no side scoring up to this point, if it was to go into halftime 0-0, you would feel like both sides would deserve maybe a goal out of this first half, but also have defended well enough to keep a clean sheet on both sides. This would be a scoreline worthy of this first half. There's been action. There's been execution as well in the defensive game plan. This ball's knotted forward. Diao will go back to his goalkeeper, and Castro will boot it away. De Rosario, who's been quiet today after his long effort to start off the match. Now Baker and De Rosario. De Rosario is the intended target. It pops to Kane. Now Yusu Kanome, and his shot is blocked. Baker into Yusu Kanome with his right foot. Had eyes for Diao. Masanvi's taking the touch, and he'll clear it away. That'll be a foul on Yamada. So Braden Fisher jumped into the air, and Yamada collided with him. We're in the 45th minute now. No score between Minnesota and Tacoma. Tacoma now with 6 shots compared to 5 for Minnesota. And Minnesota with more shots on target in this first half. 4-2. Masanvi, a little touch, trying to use his speed, but Diao using his body to stay in between Masanvi and goal. De Rosario with an excellent touch. Now Sebastian Gomez sprinting forward. He'll slow his pace. De Rosario. Carly. Baker is shoved, and that'll be a free kick.
A minimum of 1 minute at a time. 1 minute.
So the 4th official announcing a minimum of 1 minute of added time. And a set piece for Tacoma at the stroke of halftime. Defiance looking for a lead going into the break. Kingston plays this ball in with pace. Doesn't beat the first line of defense. Sent back in. And there's your halftime whistle. So no score at the break between Tacoma Defiance and Minnesota United FC 2. We will have lots of fun at halftime. A full slate of interviews that is upcoming. We will be right back with that full halftime show after our break.
Action.
Halftime score, Tacoma Defiance 0, Minnesota United 0. Our first half highlights and a look at our upcoming schedule are later. But first, April Marie Aguilar headed to North Carolina to visit with U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer and North Carolina's native son, Eddie Pope.
Thank you for joining me. I'm April Marie Aguilar here in High Point, North Carolina at the brand new state-of-the-art facility, the Go Forth Elite Performance Center with Carolina Core FC. And today I'll be speaking with a legend, Eddie Pope. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me. But I want to mention, with the club in its second season, how do you continue to push the envelope in order to achieve the desired result?
It's just working every day, working hard every day, making sure the players are working hard every day. I'm trying to make sure that we look a little bit before, a little bit beyond, the next day and the next day, try to have a little bit of a vision, setting goals that are out in front of us, trying to achieve those goals, making sure the players are achieving those goals, as well as the coaching staff.
And how does the mind of a former U.S. soccer legend translate to that of CSO? I
think just for the most part, just trying to make things better than I had them. So I'm thinking about all the little bit of pitfalls that I may have gone through, whether that's on the field or off the field, trying to make things easier for players, try to give players advice on the field. So sometimes it is putting on the cleats and going out and trying to disseminate the information that I had as a player and moving that on to them. So those are some of the major ways. And then obviously trying to perform at the best of my ability as a CSO, as sometimes a coach, but then making sure that they have something like this, a training facility where they can apply their trade.
So I'm told you're the first to arrive and the last to leave. How does that level of commitment contribute to the success of the organization?
Yeah, I think just making sure that I'm setting an example for our coaching staff and our players. Sometimes the players leave after me, sometimes they're here before me, same thing with the coaching staff. But I think that something like that can be contagious. I think it's important, especially when a club like this is in the second year. We're just getting started. So we need to make sure that at a minimum, we're working as hard as we possibly can.
And I just recently visited the National Soccer Hall of Fame, where you've been inducted. Despite that, you seem like a very, very humble individual. So how does somebody at your level stay so grounded?
For me, I think it's the game humbles you at all times. So the second that a player or anyone becomes a little bit haughty, the game will humble you. On the field sometimes, off the field sometimes, as a CSO, as a coach, where you might lose a game that you should have won. Soccer has a strange way of doing that for everyone.
And earlier today, we had the opportunity to attend practice. I saw you taking some forwards aside and, giving them some pointers. How does somebody with your experience not only instill what you know, but at the same time inspire them throughout the process?
Yeah, I think players are interesting, right? Players, obviously I was a former player. One of the things that they do pay attention to is where you've played, what you've done. So I think, we've as a coaching staff and myself, we've checked that box. Our players are very attentive. They're like sponges. They like to listen. At the MLS NEXT Pro level especially, that is a developmental league. So players are trying to develop, and it's our job to make sure that we're helping them through that process. So I try to take some of my past experiences, some of the things that I've gone through, like I was working with a forward, so I'm trying to tell him, hey, here are the things that I don't like that forwards do as a defender, and making sure that he understands those and that those are just options for him to choose from. He's not a robot, but just trying to help him unlock other defenders. And so we try to pull guys aside at times and work with them.
So that's the knowledge that you teach out on the field. What is something that you're instilling in them outside the pitch?
I think so. For us, one of the things that we do have is a player development program where we will teach them, how to handle their finances. We have them, our captains, and a couple of other players going through a leadership course through a company that works with the club. Sometimes we'll do some fun things like cooking courses because they're young.
Right.
Most of them are bachelors, so to help make sure they're eating properly when they have the opportunity to cook for themselves. So we try to do some fun things off the field as well. And then I just think tactically, a lot of them are super young. The game changes so quickly that we try to sit down with them and help them understand tactically, not only just the game in general, but especially what we're trying to do.
At this point in time in your career, what is something that you ultimately hope to be remembered for?
That's a good question. I think just someone who worked hard, someone who believed in U.S. soccer, American soccer, someone who's wanted to really help grow the game here, especially now being in the position that I'm in and helping to develop youth players and push them onward to MLS and hopefully the national team. And maybe even other national teams, moving them on to Europe as well, but especially growing the game here in the United States.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
Action.
I know I'm fully attracted. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Welcome back. Tacoma and Minnesota 0-0 at the halftime break. We will look ahead to the league's upcoming schedule in a moment. But first, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so Real Salt Lake star Diego Luna shared a bit of his journey this season and what he has implemented to stay mentally strong.
Diego, have a good game tonight.
Throughout this year, my performance has not been where it's supposed to be. And I think a lot of that had to do with where my head was at and the things I was dealing with. I started with a therapist. That notebook just has everything we've been working on with my therapist. It has affirmations, breathing exercises, power poses, things to just think about to get your mind in the right place. From there, it's just been it's just been good. Like, I've just felt better. I've been able to just be myself, enjoy the game more, and I think that notebook is going to continue to help me. Of course, I have my affirmations here, and I just read them in order down through the whole page, and there's not really one that, you know, sticks out to you, but it's all just about getting your mind in the right place and realizing how blessed you are and that you're okay no matter what. I have what it takes to create the life I want. I am successful. I am talented. Money flows well in my life. I'm healthy and strong. I'm healing all areas of my life. Everything always works out for the best. Remember to stay positive. Today is a great day for success.
Action.
Welcome back to halftime. Tacoma Defiance 0, Minnesota United 0. Again, no shortage of opportunities in the first half. Both sides were playing a pretty cagey first half of action. We'll take a look at the first half statistics after we take a look at these first half highlights. Here's how things got started. As Junao Kane found Sebastian Gomez. This initial ball from Peter Kingston did not trouble the goalkeeper, Russell Spiel. And Samuel Shashua always plays in good balls. And this one was nodded towards the back post by Kenji. He could not finish. Jacob Castro making a save. Once again, Shashua and Kane. Also a save made by Castro. A little bit later, Edson Carley had a long effort. Wessel Spiel didn't allow for any spillage. And then this was a beautiful ball from Diao, and Sukanome just could not get clean contact to it. And those are your halftime highlights. Well, here are your halftime statistics as promised. 4 shots on target for Minnesota, 2 shots on target for Tacoma. A lot of the efforts for the Defiance were from distance. And so Tacoma is a side that likes to upgrade their shots. They want to turn good shots into great shots. And so in the second half, watch how often those shots that were coming from outside in the first half start to come from inside the box, and see how many goals that they put up. Minnesota has done a good job defensively against this high-powered offense. Now we take a look at the upcoming schedule for MLS Next Pro. Some very fun matches coming up on Sunday. Colorado Rapids working their way up the Western Conference table. Ventura County at the top of the West will take on Real Monarchs. The Town, another team that has done really well. They'll take on LAFC2. And then on Tuesday, a rematch of 2 of the top teams from last year. Of course, Cincinnati finishing first in the East and Philadelphia finishing second in the East last season. And the teams that finished first and second in the West will be facing off on Wednesday. St. Louis and North Texas. Also a nice fun matchup on Wednesday between Red Bulls and Crown Legacy. Patrick Ajimong, a former Crown Legacy member, scoring against Toronto to secure all 3 points at the first team level. It's Red Bulls top, or working their way towards the top of the Eastern Conference. 3 points behind Chattanooga right now in the East. Almost ready for the second half between Tacoma and Minnesota. Couple of substitutions made by Tacoma at the halftime break. We'll have those for you in just a moment, as the Defiance are trying to stop a 3-match losing streak. They started the season 5-2, and they dropped their first match of the season, so they had gotten a result in 5 out of their next 6 matches, but since then have fallen on some hard times, falling to the reigning champions North Texas last time out 3-2, and then falling in back-to-back Cascadia clashes, falling to Vancouver and Portland in the matches prior. Minnesota, a similar story. They were winners of 4 straight to start the season, but have not notched a W in their last 4 matches. So they are trying to end May with a W. Minnesota in the light blue kits and Tacoma in the gray kits with black shorts. There is your second half whistle, and we begin second half action between Tacoma Defiance and Minnesota United FC2. James Hadnot here with you. Thank you so much for joining us from Starfire Sports Complex in Tacoma, Washington.
So Tacoma Defiance made 3 substitutions at the half.
Yusuke Nome on the ball. Now Edson Carley.
Number 31, Diam Dial. And number 95, Osase de Rosario. Entering for the second half, number 83, Elias Casaros. Number 47, Damian Alvarez. And number 40,
and here are your substitutions as Jackson Corey has come on for Osase de Rosario. Damian Alvarez has come on as well for Barame Diao. And initially, Luke Hilly is offside in the first action for Minnesota. And lastly, Elias Katsaros comes on for Kaito Yamada. So Katsaros will play in the back, you see, with Leo Burney. That's like for like with Yamada. Corey will come and play on the wing. Yamada will move to the number 9 striking role, with De Rosario coming out. And Damian Alvarez will play on the wing as well. We'll see how this changes the attack for Tacoma. The coaching staff wants Sukanome to be more aggressive shooting. He's already shown his ability passing. And now Jackson Corey takes the touch. And that will be a goal kick as he went out of play. Jackson Corey, the Lebanese youth international, was last year's Young Player of the Year in the third tier USL League. Damian Alvarez, who's come on, he was the 58th overall pick out of Seattle after playing at Seattle Pacific, winning the WAC Defensive Player of the Year trophy. That ball is won. No substitutions at the half for Minnesota. They also have a light bench tonight as the traveling team. Just 5 potential men on the bench. Tacoma racing the other way. This ball takes a deflection and will pop out for a corner. Yu Sukunome is always a target on these corner kicks. Scored versus Ventura County. And he has 9 goals on the season. Ball played short. Gomez popped it back in. And now it's cleared away by Minnesota. Nice little action as the ball was played quickly into Peter Kingston. Gomez came in right on the edge of the 6, but just could not keep it in play. Now the long throw. Whiffed. Kang controls. Now Cody Baker into Kingston, the captain on the day. And Katsaros, who's just come on. Alias Katsaros locates Jackson Corey. Now Corey could not keep it on frame. Excellent action between Elias Katsaros and Jackson Corey right there. And Corey had an excellent opportunity. Just could not trouble Wessel Spiel. But already an infusion of offense with the addition of Jackson Corey in the 11. So after the foul was called in past midfield, there was a collision behind midfield. Just a real tough go of it for Don Mowing. So Samuel Shashua runs off. There's the whistle. And now the free kick about to commence. Kurt Kolov puts it into the box. After this deflection, Masanvi. And it will be a corner. The last touch was from Tacoma. Masanvi was out of play. And so Minnesota will have a corner. This is Shashua. Outswinging ball. Headed away by Sukunome. Brought down. And the shot was taken by Anderson Ferris. Minnesota still with possession for the moment. June Mao Kang finds Sebastian Gomez. The numbers were off his left shoulder, but he decided to go to the right. And then a foul will close down the attack for the Loons. Long ball, trying to play direct into Jackson Corey again. Throw-in coming for Tacoma. Corey quickly puts it back into play. Casaros almost turns it over. And that will be a foul. That's just good movement there. As a yellow card is shown. Luke Hilly was the one that made the move. And a foul and a yellow card going on the Defiance.
The referee issued a yellow card to
Elias
Defiance player
Katsaros
number
is the man that picked up the yellow.
Elias Katsaros.
So Spiel sends this towards the box. It's knotted down and will roll out. But Tacoma will have possession. Castro turns it over quickly. Shot comes. And Castro with the save. Kolov had the opportunity. Now Sebastian Gomez out the back door. Gomez continues in possession. And Jackson Corey can't complete the skill check. And will roll out for a Minnesota throw. 55th minute of action. Still no score between Minnesota and Tacoma. Minnesota looking for its first win ever on the road versus the Defiance and trying to snap a 4-match losing streak. Kane slips through and it's cleared away. Carlos Casillas Lopez stops that attack. Casaros sends it back into play. Bernie, a nice ball through to Gomez. Now Corey, an excellent touch. Corey trying to cut it across. And the throw-in coming for Minnesota. But Jackson Corey has been a bright spot since coming on. Played prior in Australia as a pro. Came to the United States and played in the 3rd tier, where he had made more than 20 starts and scored 7 goals for South Georgia. Has been very spry today for the Defiance. Bernie heads this forward. Joshua trying to control. Long ball towards Masanvi. It'll bounce, and Castro will bring it down. Hanson Carly takes a lot of contact there from Alpha Cabia, and Carly is down. Carly needing a little bit more time to get up. Started the Open Cup for Tacoma versus Washington Athletic Club. His 1 goal this season came versus the Town back on March 14th. This ball's knotted down. Second ball's won by Tacoma. Kane slides it out wide. Carly. Casaros. Again, Minnesota not giving an inch. Gomez. And possession lost to Masanvi. And this ball rolls out for a throw-in. Sounders FC is proud to be a partner with Regents Blue Shield, a health plan powering Washington's health and wellness for more than 100 years. Nearing the 60th minute of action and still no score. And very similar to the first half, Tacoma came out, had an early opportunity. They've continued their pressure thanks to Jackson Corey, but have not been able to hit the back of the net. And if history repeats itself here in this second half, Minnesota will start to find their rhythm. Casillas Lopez. Joshua with an opportunity to turn. Now Ferris, early ball comes in. Masanvi races for it. That ball rolls out for a Minnesota throw. Very deep in their attacking third. We've seen long throws into the box from Minnesota on these occasions. And Samuel Joshua's day is going to come to a close. So Issa Sayedi comes on. Padelford, a long throw. And a shove is the call. One thing for Minnesota that they said all year is we can't be casual. Even during the winning streak to start the year, Coach Hall was very adamant about his team not being casual, especially in key moments, having to make sure that they're always focused and locked in. And in those moments later on in the season, they could be beat and found themselves, when I talked with Coach Hall, every single goal that was given up, he could explain where it was just a mental breakdown. It wasn't anything necessarily that the opponents had done against them, but when his team broke down and didn't make the right decision, there wasn't communication at the right time. And they have been very connected today, quieting a very loud offense. First ball again, won by Tacoma. These long balls, that's been a part of their attack over this last 15 minutes, playing direct into players like Sebastian Gomez and Yusuke Nome. And the ball working around to Katsaros and Corey. This is Carly. Katsaros, another good ball. And Gomez is shoved off by Fisher. These are nice ideas from Tacoma. But again, Minnesota has had answers to all the questions that Tacoma has been showcasing on offense. Another substitution. This is the first window used in this half. Charles Gaffney will come on for June Malkang. Gaffney, the Seattle native, attended UPenn and played with Leo Burney, the center back for Tacoma, on the pitch right now. 62 appearances and 13 goals for the Quakers. Kolov using his big frame, and he is shoved, but play on is the decision. Now Casillas Lopez works back to Padelford. We saw a penalty given in the last match, which was the game-winning goal for North Texas against Tacoma. I talked with Coach Diese about it, and he mentioned that sometimes those calls are made, sometimes they're not. We just have to be connected. Once again, Luke Healy could not trouble Jacob Castro. It's been a real aggressive press from Minnesota, and they haven't given Tacoma time on the ball. And that is one of the reasons why they've kept them off the score sheet, because when Tacoma has time on the ball, they usually make the right decision. Saidi. Ball squirms towards the top of the 6, and then it's cleared away. And we will see another long throw. Padelford, the trigger man, launches the ball into the box. Flick through, it's free, and it finds the back of the net, but no, it's waved off. The goal is waved off for a handball, and Tacoma still level with Minnesota on what the Loons thought was a go-ahead goal. That's where that long ball from a throw-in can be trouble. If it's flicked on and not handled, then it turns into a bad predicament. Minnesota has been knocking out the door. And now this ball is dumped out wide. Masanvi making the run into the box. Now Kolov has it. Kurt Kolov wins a corner. Minnesota has been right there. Seven shots on target for the Loons. Kolov sends this in. And it was Hilly. He was the target. Could not steer it on frame. And now for Tacoma, they're just hoping that the dam doesn't break. Sukanome wants it. He has some space to play into. Slips out wide. Alvarez does a good job to stop Masanvi in his tracks. That ball will come out. And a throw in for Tacoma. ball out wide, but it's too far in front of Jackson Corey. So now Wessel Spiel, again mentioned, his 3-2 record on the year. He's trying to notch a clean sheet. Tacoma still looking for their first clean sheet of the campaign. Kolov, heavy initial touch, could not continue control. Fisher, Cody Baker has to be careful with Masanvi lurking. Pressure continually put on by Minnesota. As this ball scoots forward, Sukanome believes he's fouled behind the play. He is, and it will be a free kick. Corey. And now Casaros. Played 2 seasons with Tacoma Defiance, a former Seattle Sounders Academy member. Had 1 goal last season. Charles Gaffney. Already mentioned that he played with Leo Burney. Castro with a poor ball, and the throw-in coming for Minnesota. Britton Fisher, a longtime member of the second team. He's one of the voices that Minnesota is always listening to. Maybe in practice or in matches. This ball pings out wide to Ferris. Back to Padelford. We'll see as this match wears on if either side becomes more aggressive in taking space. Fisher, good idea. Flag stays down, and there's the finish. It had been coming for Minnesota, and Luke Hilly achieves the mountaintop for the Loons. 1-0. Just a wonderful ball from Fisher. Hilly, thanks to the deflection, sees the ball bounce over Castro. And again, right to the supporters as he becomes a villain on away ground. And Luke Hilly scores his second goal of the season. So Minnesota leads 1-0 on their 11th shot, their 8th on target. They finally finish. And Tacoma finds itself down once again. Minnesota this season, when they have scored first, has not lost. Tacoma hoping that they don't find themselves on a 4-match losing streak. This portion of the match is brought to you by the Western Washington Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. 73rd minutes, and Minnesota is on the board thanks to Luke Hilly. Mentioned his success. He's played both at University of North Carolina and at NC State. 23 total goals playing for the Wolfpack and for the Tar Heels. Call of a nice move around Baker. Could not connect with Masanvi. One thing that Tacoma is not going to be afraid of is going down. They're a team that's, as mentioned, always looking for goals and is very resilient. And come back multiple times this season. Already mentioned their comeback versus Ventura County before this losing streak where they won 2-1. Sebastian Gomez. And Gomez could not strike it clean. Hilly off the initial look from the goalkeeper. And there is a shove by Masanvi and a foul. So Masanvi with a talking to. A boot lost inside the box. And we are inching towards our final quarter of an hour. Tacoma will be looking to knot this match. And Minnesota is going to stay aggressive and look for a second. Masanvi forces the turnover. Masanvi still with it. Kolov using his big frame, but he cannot swerve around a defender. And now Yusuke Nome can't beat Padelford to the ball. Mowing over the top again, but this time Hilly is offside. You see Minnesota has seen something. Luke Hilly has done a good job of playing off the shoulder of either center back and making the run. That's how they found their goal. And that's where Tacoma has not been as tight. Cody Baker ended up on the pitch, so there will be a free kick from just past midfield. Mowing, racing into space. Excellent defense there by Katsaros. And now Elias Katsaros happy that Leo Burney was waiting for it. Throw in for Tacoma. Gomez. He turns it over. Next for Minnesota, they will take on Dynamo Dos, and then back-to-back matches against LA opponents, Ventura County, and then LAFC 2. For Tacoma, in danger of dropping 4 straight. They will play Real Monarchs and then also go to the state of California. They'll be at LAFC 2 and then the town. So things do not get easy for either side after this match. And that's why both are trying to bring those losing streaks to a halt. Right now, Minnesota is in front. Saidi still with it as he sends it towards the center. Casillas Lopez, Masanvi is at the byline. Cody Baker just trying to keep it in. And Masanvi thought he was shepherding it out for a corner, but it goes down as a goal kick. And now a whistle. This portion of the match is brought to you by Umpqua Bank, the official banking partner of Seattle Sounders FC. And Luik Masami was not happy, but he picked up a yellow card. 80th minute of action. And Tacoma is down by a goal at home. Minnesota trying to defeat the Defiance for the first time on the road. Almost a bad giveaway by Castro. Was beat by a deflection earlier. Goal was scored by Luke Hilly. Dumps this over the top towards Casaros. Gomez has come back as well. There's a foul on the aforementioned Hilly. Over the captain, Peter Kingston, trying to thread the needle. Jackson Corey behind to Gomez. And that will be a goal kick. For Tacoma, they've been trying to find the same magic that they had earlier in the year. Things just haven't been as seamless as they were at one time. They had really big victories. 4-1 over St. Louis, 4-1 over Sporting Kansas City, and even beat USL Championship side Oakland Roots in the Open Cup. But since that success, things have not been as free-flowing. What do they have here late? Gaffney. Kingston. Alvarez returns to Charles Gaffney, who came on as a sub.
So the previous yellow card issued to Minnesota United FC for number 98, Minnesota.
Bernie looking for options. He's out of position now. And Hilly out to Masanvi. Tries to take it on the run. Luik Masanvi. Right idea. Poor execution as Hilly was making the run. And that's the danger when Tacoma starts to commit numbers forward. One or two passes to Masanvi, and he is free. Gomez is fouled. Free kick upcoming for Tacoma. And if it wasn't for the substitution that was being made, Sebastian Gomez would have played that a little quickly. So 74, Edson Carley's going to come out, and Charles Dotsey is going to come on. Dotsie, who signed in early April, played with the DME Academy in Daytona, Florida, but was born and raised in Accra, Ghana. Late set piece for Tacoma will be the captain, Peter Kingston. Delivers towards the back post. An equalizing goal for the Defiance. Beautifully done. And Damian Alvarez gets the job done for Tacoma. This is just beautiful service. And Alvarez, above everyone, would not be denied. They are resilient. And now we'll surely be looking for a dagger. Castro will come to scoop this up and sends it forward quickly to Katsaros. Jackson Corey coming the other way. Corey receives it back from Gomez. Corey is loose! And Padelford with the slide tackle to stop the shot. Corner is taken quickly. And Starfire is alive right now. Kingston into the box. The header is saved. Wessel Spiel, beautifully done. Well, strap yourselves in for this final 5 minutes and change. We had such a calm match for 75 minutes. Then the goals started to come. This ball will go out for a corner. First goal came from Luke Hilly for Minnesota. Beautiful ball over the top. Flag stayed down, and Hilly scored thanks to a deflection. And just moments ago, Peter Kingston with a perfect ball towards the back post. And Damian Alvarez opens his Tacoma account. Defiance looking for more in the 86th. Outswinging ball. This one's headed away. Only as far as Gaffney for the moment. And now Castro will scoop this up. Tacoma as a team wants to score 3 goals a match. But 2 goals will do today. With where we're at right now. Corey. Dotsie, the substitute. This ball pops up. It ends up with Loic Masanvi. Masanvi waits for reinforcements. Player goes down for Minnesota. And it is Carlos Casillas Lopez. He's needing both of his legs stretched right now by his teammate. That also means that the training staff will be called out as well. So Minnesota looks like it's preparing a sub for Casillas Lopez. See at the top of your screen. That is getting ready to come on. So it will be Braden Schumacher who will come on for Carlos Casillas Lopez.
substitution for Minnesota United FC 2.
Schumacher comes on.
Carlos
Casillas Lopez could not finish.
Schumacher.
And we are knotted up at 1 apiece in the 89th minute. Dodsey. There's a whistle. Minnesota's not going to be happy about that. Defiance looking for another comeback win. Jackson Corey has been excellent. Slides this forward to Katsaros, who cannot cut it across. The throw in now for Tacoma. Whistles have stopped play. Elias Katsaros was ready to let it rip. We're in the 90th minute now. We'll have plenty of stoppage.
The referee issued a yellow card. Minnesota United FC to coach Jeremy Hall.
And Jeremy Hall receives a yellow card. And that's why the stoppage of play. You can understand the frustration for Coach Hall, especially on that last passage of play where it seemed like Minnesota was going to have numbers going forward, but then the whistle blew. So Coach Hall receives the yellow card as we played 90. The fourth official announcing a minimum of 4 minutes of added time. Dom Mowing fires this ball towards the box. A necessary header by Baker with Masonby right behind him. Now, Padelford is first to that. Both of these sides trying to snap losing streaks. Who wants it more? Dodsey turns it over to Saidi. Now Kabia. Too far out in front of Kurt Kolov. Dodsey fires it out, so a throw in. And is Padelford going to come for a long throw? It looks like it. Minnesota scored a goal on a long throw that was waved off for a handball. Padelford fires this in. Fisher is upended. Sukanome looking, and he'll control. Good idea. Charles Gaffney's on it. Gaffney still with it. And his cross could not connect with Sukanome. So a corner for Tacoma. We've played 2 of our minimum of 4. Kingston already has an assist today. Fires this ball in. Katsaros controls. Bernie. Only as far as Gaffney. Back in. Now Dodsey. And does that take a deflection off of Minnesota? It does. A throw in for Tacoma. Baker puts it in towards the back post. Taken in by Alvarez, the goal scorer. Corey Kingston tries to lay it off for Dotsey. Now Kolov is coming the other way. Hilly loses possession. And Mowing does a good job to stop that through ball. Will either side have a clean opportunity at the end of this match? Or will we be off to a shootout for the extra point? We played our full 4. And there is your full-time whistle. Both sides stop their losing streaks, but neither comes away with all 3 points. It was Minnesota who took the lead late, and Tacoma who knotted things up. The final at full time, Tacoma Defiance 1, Minnesota United 1. We'll take a break to discuss our procedures after a full-time whistle in which both teams are even on the scoreline. That's coming up right now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
At the end of regulation, since the teams are tied on the scoreboard, the match will extend to a shootout, with each team having 5 attempts. If the teams are tied after 5 attempts, they will go to sudden death. The shootout winner will receive an extra point in the regular season standings.
Well, as you see, no side won in regulation. And now we'll have a shootout to see who will earn an extra point on the season. Let's take a look at how we got to this shootout. This beautiful ball was dropped and over the top. Luke Hilly made the right run, and Leo Burney just trying to keep it out, but the deflection ends up messing up Jacob Castro. And there's the goal, and then the answer. Damon Alvarez off a beautiful look from Peter Kingston. Tacoma finds a point at home, and Minnesota still winless on the road against Tacoma. Something about Starfire. And now we can take a look at the upcoming schedule. As you can see, it will be some fun matchups. On tomorrow, the matinee matchups, Colorado and Sporting Kansas City, along with Columbus Crew and Chicago Fire. Colorado, another team that is working their way up the Western Conference table. Philadelphia and FC Cincinnati, top 2 teams from last year in the East. Philadelphia, once again, a strong side as they've been since their inception and entrance into MLS Next Pro. And Red Bulls, just 3 points off of the lead in the East, with Chattanooga ahead of them. Finally, on Wednesday, we'll have St. Louis and North Texas. That will be a fun one for sure, a rematch of the Western Conference Final from last season. Now it's time for the shootout to see who will earn the extra points. Jacob Castro is the goalkeeper for Tacoma. And starting things off is Luke Hilly, the former Tar Heel and Wolfpack member. Had the goal today for Minnesota, and we'll look for the first from the spot for the Loons. Hilly is true. Perfect penalty. Castro guessed right, but just could not stop it as it hit side netting. Just wonderfully placed by Luke Hilly. And Minnesota has the first in this shootout. Tacoma sees Minnesota's captain and raises with their captain to start things off in the shootout. Peter Kingston, Seattle Sounders Academy member from 2014 to 2019. And Kingston with a firesome shot. Beautiful penalty from Kingston. Strong and precise. So now it will be Kurt Karlov. Karlov, as mentioned, had a penalty and scored when Syracuse won the national championship. This is nothing new to him. And Karlov, cool as you like. When Syracuse won the 2022 national championship, Karlov was one of the penalty takers. And Karlov, very calm, gives Minnesota the lead once again. Now Charles Gaffney, former UPenn Quaker. And he too is precise from the spot. 2 shots from both teams, both 2 shots to hit the back of the net. So this brings up Anderson Ferris, younger player on this side. An excellent opportunity for him to show his grit. And Ferris can't find the back of the net. Take a look at this again as it hit the side and just unable to test Castro. Opportunity for Jackson Corey to give Tacoma the lead. The Lebanese Youth International airmails it. And we still are level at 2 apiece in this shootout. And you see he's just leaning back as he makes contact. And that's what took the ball over the bar. So Minnesota with new life. And Loic Massanvi will step to the spot. Massanvi off the stutter. Snaps the cords. And Minnesota is back in front in this shootout. Brings up Yusu Kanome. Could not add to his goal tally within the run of play. He will stay 1 goal behind the leader in the clubhouse, Nelson Pierre, who has 10 on the season. Sukanome came into this match with 9 goals after having just 4 last season. Hoping to find the back of the net in this shootout and level things once again. And Sukanome succeeds. Coach Hervé Diesse talks so much about Sukanome and says if he scored just 1/4 of the goals that he scored in practice, he would easily win the Golden Boot. When he has that technical ability, as you saw there, a stutter, another stutter, and then a swipe. He's just oozing of quality. Now Padelford in a big spot here. The fifth kick taker, and he is blocked. Nonchalantly walked up, thought it was going to be calm and easy, but Castro was there, and Tacoma can take the extra point. And Castro saw it the entire way. Padelford was trying to place it off the right side. Now Damon Alvarez gives Tacoma the extra point. Alvarez, who drew the match level, pushes them ahead in the shootout. And Tacoma takes the extra point, 4-3. Your final, once again, Tacoma Defiance 1, Minnesota United 1. Tacoma earns the extra point, 4-3 in the shootout. Thank you so much for joining us this evening from Tacoma, Washington at Starfire Sports Complex. My name is James Hadnot, saying so long. You can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Have a blessed evening.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.